Hey, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, a local nonprofit group led by those in recovery provides support for people impacted by addiction. And there was a great turnout for the Ward 2 Art in the Park event. Here to discuss these topics and a whole lot more is the councilwoman who represents Ward 2. Of course, it's Victoria Seaman. Welcome back. How are you?
I am great. It's good to be here.
Good to see you. Good to see you as well. We're into the fall now, finally, and the temperatures are cooling off. And
it's wonderful.
Yeah, a lot going on, and busy.
Yep, and it's going to be much better now that the weather is cooler.
That's right, exactly. Well, it's always fun to talk about what's going on in Ward 2 because that's where I live too, and there's a lot going on out there. We know Ward 2, it's where we live, but for those of you out there not exactly sure where we're talking about, well, no worries, we're going to show you on the map. It's the area basically with the 2 on it, appropriately enough, but it's roughly west of the Rainbow Curve. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you're a resident out there, you're represented on the Las Vegas City Council by Victoria Seaman. And I think you've got to be pretty proud. You tend not to toot your own horn, but I'm going to toot it for you just for a second because one of the things that's been near and dear to you since you've come on the council, maybe beforehand, was shining a light on the need for understanding mental health, recovery, addiction, and helping families cope with family members who struggle with that and individuals who struggle with it. So you were recently honored with a very important award called the Friend of Recovery Award 2021. Goes to someone who's an advocate for people who are trying to raise awareness, and congratulations, kudos to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It really near and dear to my heart and a lot of other people that we talk about mental health and recovery, and I'm so grateful for the people at the Foundation for Recovery who brought me in and helped me understand what was needed with mental health and addiction. And as a leader, it gives me the opportunity to advocate for it. And so that is my passion.
You know, it's interesting, for so many years, that has always been such a
stigma.
Taboo subject, and somehow people just don't want to talk about it. Well, needless to say, it doesn't make the problem any better.
Exactly,
it makes it worse.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with COVID, we had so many more problems with addiction, suicide, mental health. And so it is really good to get out there as a leader and talk about this so we can help more people and save more lives.
Yeah, well, there you are. You're at the event receiving the award. There's your team here from City Hall. But this is a big deal. They hand this out, obviously, to people who are making a big difference within the addiction, recovery, mental health groups, those groups that are trying to, again, raise awareness. So kudos to you, and congratulations, your husband there, your family, so that's great.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Congratulations on that. Since you've been on the program last time, we had a big anniversary to 9/11, hard to believe, 20 years. You posted this on Facebook. You said it was an honor to join the retired New York City police officers of the NYPD 1013 as we remember the heroes of 9/11 on the 20th anniversary of that horrific day. May God bless them all. And the 1013 Club are retired New York City police officers who live here now. Yeah.
Correct. And I've been involved with them for a few years. You know, law enforcement is also really near and dear to my heart.
Your father was in law enforcement.
My husband.
And husband as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've got involved with them. And they do this every year, by the way. And they've always done it at the police park. And so this year they wanted to do something big, and it's been 20 years.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
We just don't want people to forget about it.
No, it's important we don't. What a day.
Very
those
important.
Of us that were around on that day 20 years ago, it's seared into our memories forever. We'll always remember what we were doing when we first heard about the attack.
Exactly, and some of these officers knew people, fellow officers that died in 9/11.
And talk about this, Councilman. This tree is of particular interest as well.
Yes, this was from the seeds of the tree that survived in New York City, and they've given these seeds out to certain cities that have gone through tragedies like 9/11, and we, of course, went through October 1, and so this was a good opportunity to plant that tree. I mean, I think it was the perfect timing on the 20-year anniversary. And as you and I were talking earlier, that tree has not only survived, but it's
incredible.
It's beautiful. I mean, we saw it in the video.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tree.
If you don't know the story, the original tree was buried under rubble after the attack in New York City. As workers were going through trying to clear the area, they found this tree, and believe it or not, it was still alive. So they turned it over to the New York City Parks and Rec Department. They took it to a nursery, not really expecting that it would make it. Lo and behold, the tree survived. It thrived. And so seedlings, as you were saying, as Councilwoman was saying, are given to cities that have suffered tragedy as well. We got 2, actually, Councilwoman. So one tree...
And to the fire department.
Is at Fire Station 5, exactly.
Okay.
And
Where is the fire station?
Fire Station 5 is on Hinson, just off of Charleston.
Okay.
And that's a significant place because
absolutely.
there's a piece of the World Trade Tower there, an I-beam, a piece of an I-beam from the World Trade Center, one of the towers. And every 9/11, there's a ceremony there where they toll the bell, and they fly a flag given to the city of Las Vegas by the New York City Fire Department.
Amazing.
So,
and now they have a tree.
They have one,
and
and there's one out
is
of
one in the
Police
police park, Police Memorial Park. Oh, it's very nice.
So it's quite a story, and we were talking before the program too. When we first got those seedlings, they were so little we couldn't plant them right away. They never would have survived in the desert. But our arborist here at the city, we have an arborist. That team let those trees mature, and now they're ready to grow. And look how they're thriving. Yeah, thriving.
It's
Look
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's called a calorie pear tree. So there you go.
Very nice.
I don't know if it'll actually have pears on it in the future, but we'll find out. So, and then, Councilwoman, speaking of law enforcement, this was great. Every first Tuesday of the month, Metro holds kind of a meet and greet at their area command centers, and one took place back on September 7th in the Summerlin Area Command, which encompasses your neighborhood. But this is a great way just to get to know the police officers, the men and women who patrol your neighborhood.
Absolutely, and it's so important that you get to know the officers and that they get to hear about issues and concerns, just like we do at our breakfast. They reach out to the community to hear some of the issues and concerns and to talk about them. And I just love what they do. I think we have the most amazing police community because of how they do community outreach.
They do. They do a lot of outreach. I think that they call it community policing, where they're in the community trying to work with the community before there's trouble. And they clearly do that here. So, folks, the message is that every first Tuesday of every month, Metro, the police department, at all the different area commands, has an open house, basically. And as Councilwoman said, if there's an issue going on in your neighborhood, something going on that you need to talk to the police about or want to talk to the police about, it's a great way to do it.
Show up,
in an informal
Very
setting.
informal.
Yeah. So, very good. And then that took place on the 7th of September. Again, there'll be another one on October 5th, if you're so inclined. And then you were out touring on the 20th of September with the ironworkers. You did a little tour of ironworkers local 416 and 433. Are you going to become an ironworker in another
I don't know. I really like scaffolding. It was my first time scaffolding, and it was great. They took me around and really showed me about some of their educational programs, and it was very interesting. Well,
the trades are so important because things are coming back. We're starting to build again, and this is putting people back to work. So this is really a mainstay of our economy here. So I'd love to see everybody going back to work. The projects are coming out of the ground again.
That's right.
For a long time, things were on hold. Things were so uncertain. But yeah, here we go again. That's great.
This is a foundation to our buildings.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big deal. And then you also, on September 17th, this is important, it was kind of the kickoff right toward the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. We want to mark that, but you were out at the Latin Chamber for a big luncheon to kind of help get the festivities underway.
Right, that was great. It was nice to start it off and kick it off. And the Latin Chamber does have, now that we're out of COVID, have regular luncheons. And I encourage people to go and just learn about what's going on in the Latin community.
Yeah, especially in business opportunities, a great networking opportunity.
Great opportunity.
You get plugged in with people in the community. It's just a great way to dial in, especially if you have a small business, that you want to make sure that you're kind of plugged in with what's going on in the area. Yeah. So good resources there. And Yeah, we talked about Hispanic Heritage Month. You posted this on Facebook. You said, I want to thank Councilwoman Olivia Diaz for inviting me to attend her Fiestas Patrias event celebrating the kickoff of Hispanic Heritage Month. What a fantastic evening. And of course, Hispanic Heritage Month runs from the middle of September, September 15th through October 15th.
Correct. It's a very nice party, and a lot of the Latin community came out for it, and it was just good to meet with folks, and again, networking with the Latin community, and really enjoyed it.
At this particular event, the Consul of Mexico
Yes.
was honored, but there were representatives of all kinds of Latin American countries at this event, and so just again a great way to kick off the Hispanic Heritage Month.
She did it all. She had the mariachi bands there. It was great.
Yeah, it was good. And one of our marshals even sang.
No, I missed that part.
It was really good.
Oh.
So who knew that she was that talented? But maybe she could moonlight when she's not working as a city marshal as a singer, because she did a fantastic job. There
I'm
you are.
sorry I missed that part.
So, but yeah, great event. Very colorful. It's
Very.
One of these, yeah. So Hispanic Heritage Month still goes on for a few more weeks.
That's right.
Middle of October is when it concludes. And, you know, spreading the wealth around and being diverse. You were also out at the Greek Food Festival. Now, this is some good food, folks, really. This was on September 12th, that weekend, out at St. John
Yes,
Orthodox
and that's
Church.
been an amazing tradition. They do it every year, and if people have not gone out, they should, because it is also very festive with the food
dancing,
music, and I love Greek food.
I do too.
I tell you.
I do too. It's one of my favorites. And this Greek Food Festival, folks, if you've not been, you've got to put it on your bucket list of things to do. Now that the pandemic appears to be winding down, it's a great event to get out there.
It is a great event, and I encourage people to go.
Yeah, it happens over several days too. It's like over a 3-day week.
It's like 3 or 4 days.
3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so enjoy that in the future, and I think the proceeds go to benefit the church there itself. Yeah. So, and then a great event back in Ward 2 is, and you posted this on Facebook. You said we had a great turnout for our Ward 2 Art in the Park. We had so many wonderful artists showcasing their talents, accompanied by delicious food and jazz music.
Yeah, this is a tradition I started in the last spring, and it is Art in the Park, where we feature the local artists and people come out. It's kind of like a art farmer's market, right?
right, exactly.
And
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, the art farmers market. It was so much fun. There were so many people that came out. People brought their dogs and just enjoyed the day. There were cocktails out there. There was jazz.
Yeah, food.
There were
great food.
trucks.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun. So 10 to 4.
Yeah. Perfect. It was beautiful weather out there
Beautiful
that
weather.
day too.
The first day that it had cooled down, and we're going to be doing it again
just
in the
on
spring.
time. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we'll continue to do it in the spring and the fall as long as I'm in Ward 2.
You know, you and I always chuckle about this because back in the day, the big art festival was in Boulder City, and so if you wanted to go to it, you had to drive out to Boulder City. So I love this because it's right there in Ward 2. Bruce Trent Park is at the corner of Vegas and Rampart.
Right.
Beautiful park.
I got to tell you, we just did a facelift on that park.
I was going to say, it looks gorgeous, yeah.
The playground was full of kids.
Yeah.
I have never seen it like that. So we're really happy about people coming out now after COVID and enjoying the park, and with the new playground. It really needed some work, and now I think people are really enjoying that park.
It's a beautiful park. There's tennis courts there.
It is a beautiful park.
And as you say, lots of playground amenities.
Perfect location.
Exactly. And there's also areas that you can reserve for picnics. You'll
yes,
see people
we put
out
a pavilion there.
Yeah, all the time.
That was so important.
So people are always out there grilling.
They go for lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Family gatherings. And of course, on the days of the Art in the Park, it's like you say, it's like a treasure.
We added tables out there so people could enjoy. And I have to say, people, came. I mean, I talked to so many people, and they just wanted to get out and enjoy the weather, and so they really, really had a good time.
Yeah, and the local artists, some of the talent that shows up at that is really amazing. Yeah, it really is.
Amazing.
So bottom line is, if you've missed it and you're feeling like, oh man, I should have been out there, don't worry, because we're going to do it again in the spring.
In the spring. And if you're an artist,
Yeah,
all you have
wanna
to
hear
do
from
is email us, and we'll let you know when it is, and you can come and
Set up a
show
booth,
your
yeah,
art.
yeah, set up a table out there.
Because we'd
Love to
love
have
more
you.
artists to come out. That
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah, and the more the merrier, because that's just
And it's all handmade stuff. So even if they do jewelry or cosmetic, whatever it is.
Councilwoman, talk about that. It was a little of everything
Yes.
that we saw out there.
Yes.
Paintings, it was jewelry, it was ceramics, pottery, everything.
It has to be handmade, though.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
not
right.
for mass marketing, different things.
Right.
It's really for something that you've created.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, there was a lot of variety there.
Yeah,
It was really
exactly.
nice.
And I like your description. It is like a farmer's market of art.
Yeah.
So a little bit of everything out there.
Yeah.
Nice to walk through and see it and enjoy some great
Lot of
food while
fun.
you're out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Councilwoman, you're always out mixing and mingling with your constituents out there. You posted this on Facebook. You said, today we had a very busy morning with our breakfast buzz and Ward 2 biz at Rachel's Kitchen. What a wonderful turnout. I always enjoy hearing about what the citizens of Ward 2 have to say. And that's what these events are all about, right?
It is. And this is, again, something I started when I got elected, breaking bread together. And so every month we do it. So get on our email list if you have not come for breakfast and shared. You know, it's networking too. It's not just sharing your issues and concerns, but a lot of the community comes out to network. And
Look at your husband even came out to
Yes,
support
he
you there
did.
that day. Look
He
at
did.
him.
Yes.
Well, see, he's a good hubby. And, you know, I think what's great about those, Councilwoman, is it's very informal. We've talked about this so much. I think people are a little intimidated, maybe coming to City Hall, coming to a council meeting. Oh my gosh, it's on television. I got to get up in front of everybody and talk.
Right.
But you go to a breakfast buzz, Ward 2 biz, it's just talking over
Casual.
over a breakfast or a cup of coffee.
Casual, very casual. And it's in their neighborhood. So they feel more comfortable.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. It's convenient, and I think they're maybe a little less intimidated about coming and talking about city.
And they meet other neighbors.
Exactly.
So
what do you hear? What are the issues with? Is crime? We hear. You know, I know that
Sometimes
burglaries
we
and-
hear about
yeah.
crime in a certain neighborhood, and then sometimes we'll just hear about, street lights that really, we need street lights in certain places because pedestrians and school children, it's a danger to them wherever. Speeding, it could be a number of things. I mean, we get concerns that maybe things that we can't resolve, but we'll help them get to the place they need to be to resolve those
No,
issues.
you and your staff are really great about that. So often we'll hear about things at the city that really aren't our jurisdiction. It's another entity's responsibility. So your staff will be so good about directing people in the right direction. This is who you need to talk to. This is the phone number. This is the email address if you need to contact. And of course, it's a city issue. If it's a city issue,
then we
take
handle
care
it.
of it.
Yeah,
We'll
we
make
take
sure
care
that
of
it
it.
gets taken care of. So.
But this is really helped us to be close to the constituents. Like they say, where the rubber meets the road. We are those people out in the ward, so it's great.
Yeah, well, good for you. And those take place every month, Councilwoman? Every month they take place. Rotates.
Different days and different restaurants.
Yeah, it moves around.
And again, if there are restaurants in Ward 2 that would like to participate, we'd love them to reach out to us. But we try to make sure that we go to different ones so people get to know new restaurants as well as we utilize the restaurants in Ward 2 and make sure that everybody gets to be a part of it.
Yeah, and spread it all around. And of course, those locations are on the city's website. You also do a great newsletter that you send out to constituents. It's got that information in as well as when those are coming up so people can find it. And before the end of this show, in our closing credits, and I'll mention this one more time, there'll be a QR code. And if you take a picture of that with your phone, you can subscribe to the newsletter. It's as easy as that. Yeah, boom. So, and then I think this is really one of the great things you've started as well, your Small Business Saturdays, where you highlight a business in Ward 2. And this is one of my favorite things because I always learn something. It's like I never knew these businesses literally are like down the street from where I live sometimes. And so we
have fun with it.
I know you do, and you're obviously telling us things that we didn't know, and we're learning.
Or I didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
Like say you do this, and they'll say no. And I'll say, okay, explain what you do.
Well, this is my business. Yeah.
It's very natural. It's not scripted. It's just talking to business owners about their business, and it is so much fun.
Well, you do great with it. And so if you have a small business and you want to get the word out about your business, we want to hear from you. You got to be in Ward 2, obviously.
Yeah.
And we hope that you're more generally a small business, but if you're a big one, we'll hear from you too.
We'll do it.
Yeah, sure. So just get in touch with us. Councilwoman's team will circle back with you. And what you do is you do a little video that gets highlighted on social media. You have it on your Instagram site, your Facebook page.
Of course, and we also do LinkedIn.
And on LinkedIn as well.
Twitter,
Yeah.
and then we post it on YouTube.
Yeah. And
so it's everywhere.
Yeah, so people get to see it. I've learned about dry cleaners, restaurants, a little bit of everything.
Consultants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've had so many different types of businesses.
And you know, the funny thing is, again, you might drive through these areas, as I do, all the time, not knowing, it's like, I had no idea until I saw your Small Business Saturday that this is what this is where they're located, this is what they do. Right. So bridal shops, the lady started her bridal shop.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm finding? Younger entrepreneurs.
I know, I've noticed that too.
I love that.
I noticed that too.
I love that.
So coming out of a pandemic, with everything we've been through, people have the spirit, you know what, I'm going to make this go.
That's right. And things that we needed.
Yeah. So, we love when you shop local and support local, and so this is an opportunity to do that. And you're helping get the word out about what's there. So, yeah. These companies obviously don't have huge advertising budgets, so the city is part of our thing at the city is economic development.
Exactly.
And encouraging business, and so this is a way that you've been doing it.
I feel like it's part of my job.
So, well, you're getting it done. So, well, Councilwoman, we always go quickly on the show. The time always runs out fast, but we always want to tell everybody out there, hey, we want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Seaman, you can find her on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, as she said. You can also contact her just by picking up the phone. That's the phone number, 702-229-2420, or you can send her an email. The address is ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you.
That's
correct. You do that every day, all day.
We love it. We love our jobs, and I can tell my staff loves their job because they do such a great job.
That's right. They do. Yeah. They work hard. You've got Dave and Brianna
and Christina.
And they're very dedicated. We saw them in some of the photos there. They support you. You know, during the week, on the weekends, in the evenings, they're working.
They're my dream team.
Yeah, I know they are. They do good, and they support.
They do, and they support the city, and they're just an amazing team. I am blessed.
All right. Well, good to have you on the show. We'll be back in 6 weeks with you with another update from Ward 2. This is the busiest time of the year. This is when events are going on, and fall and spring are the busy times before we get into the holidays. So we'll have a lot to talk about 6 weeks from now.
We sure will.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And we want to tell everybody out there, don't miss our next show beginning on October 14th with Ward 5 City Councilman Cedric Creer. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And also watch, as I mentioned, for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to download and subscribe to our newsletter. It's as easy as pointing your phone. And don't forget, you can also watch us live on the internet, of course, at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.